Welcome to the Angel Empowerment Show from I Can't to I Can with your hosts, Cindy Smith, and co-hosts, Deb, Nola, and Sam. In this show, airing every Monday at 6 p.m. Pacific Time, gain more insight and practical, intuitive tools to bring more clarity and purpose into your daily life. You can listen or be involved in live professional angel card readings on transformationtalkradio.com so you can heal, thrive, and grow in your life. And you'll experience it all with 4 of the best in the field. The Angel Empowerment Show starts now.
Welcome, everybody, to the Angel Empowerment Show. Tonight, myself, Cindy Smith, and Sam Bell. We are live, and we are all talking about the spiritual mediumship tonight is what we're doing. Okay. So we are live, and the first 30 minutes we will have our discussion, and then we will allow for you to either message us on social media or call in to 1-800-930-2819. So spiritual mediumship is what I refer to is allowing to be able to connect to the other side and with our loved ones that have crossed. But the reason I call it spiritual medium is that I've asked years ago when I started to work with the angels, if you want to say open up, tap in, whatever it is, I asked Archangel Michael to control who, what, where, when, and why I'm connected to vibration outside of what I do right now, just as I'm even talking to you. So basically, when I teach spiritual mediumship, when I do spiritual mediumship, I have Michael who creates what I refer to as a gate. And then that way, I can, as many of you have been following us, and, we communicate with the angels. So when we open up and say, may the white light be in our sight, may the truth be in our heart, may the words flow easily and effortlessly, that's our way to tell our angels that we've opened up to communicate to your angels. But when we do that, we're opening up to communicate with the angels. It isn't automatic that we're going to open up and connect to loved ones that are on the other side. And the reason that I say it isn't automatic is that Archangel Michael controls who we connect with. So automatically we'll connect with your angel team, but he has what we refer to as a spiritual gate that monitors who is connected with us when we open up to work with clients. So you've seen many mediums over the years on TV and famous, amazing mediums who will open up and see all kinds of spirits around people. I've been guided to do it different. And there's several reasons why. So that there's no being over-inundated even when I'm out and about not working per se. And so thank goodness for Michael and assisting, because I probably wouldn't do the work that I do without the gate. And because it really helps me monitor the energy that I work with at any given moment in time. How has it helped you, Sam, with the gate with Archangel Michael?
Hugely, mainly because I have never really pursued mediumship. My connection is very much more with my angelic team, although I will do it in specific circumstances, but it's that, like you say, it's that control. I like that idea of the gate. I like that Archangel Michael is ensuring that, only who needs to come through is coming through to me, so I don't get overwhelmed. I suppose that's probably the best way to describe it. And I remember the very first show that we did for the podcast, Cindy, we were talking, I think we called it Skeptics to Believers. Right. And this was the one area that I was the most skeptical about, and even, I can't really say it now because it doesn't feel right, but at the time, mediumship made me a little fearful. And I realize now that the angel team never, ever, allow you to feel that fear. Everything that comes through from our angel team, if it's fear, then it's our own ego. And so that added part, when you taught me, Cindy, about the gate, that gave me that abated that fear for me, and that skepticism, if that makes sense.
Yes, it does make sense. I think, there's so many different belief systems out there around connecting to the spirit world or the other side, or, is it possible for a loved one to communicate with us? And that's why, we called it imagination or realistic, or imagination or reality. For me, I would definitely say reality, because there's so many amazing things that have happened, even on a personal aspect of connecting to the loved ones on the other side for me. And so just as I can connect and get messages with people's angels or with my angels, I can also connect with the spirit world. It's just that it can be different. The vibration is different. It's heavier. Sometimes a loved one doesn't even want to come through. I call it through the veil. They're having too much fun on the other side. They're busy doing what they want to do. Sometimes there's so many expectations of what messages should come through for loved ones. Sometimes people will, block that. But, when it comes to Archangel Michael, that's why I like to call it spiritual mediumship, is because there is no fear. Just as Sam said, there is no fear connected to it. I know that I'm 100% safe as I open up to connect to the spirit world, because Michael would never allow a spirit to come through that would affect me in any negative way whatsoever. And that isn't me putting out there to the world that spirits are out to harm us. So let's just stay away from that. There's so many movies.
I know, right?
There's so many movies and different things that happen that put people into fear when it comes to the spirit world. And I'm saying to everyone, it is so easy to connect to your loved ones. And really, it has to do with there's so many little simple things that I can say to you to be able to assist, to know when one of your loved ones is around. So I'll say a few things, Sam, and then you give an example of when your loved ones are around you. Okay. So,
okay.
It can be that, right. Let's just think of the basics. Your days, you're going along as your day, you're busy, and all of a sudden you hear a voice from a loved one that's on the other side, so as if they're talking to you, like if they're sitting right there, and you hear their voice in their tone, their pitch, and you're thinking, did I just want to hear that, or did I create that thought? There is never in my world coincidence. If I'm just going to use my dad as an example, because he is on the other side, and I can hear as if he's talking to me, as if he was sitting there, and I know that means, I call it, he's popped in. I can also see images in my mind's eye that would remind me of my dad. Or it could be a physical thing that I see that reminds me of my dad. And then I just know that he's wanting me to confirm that he is with me. And we can have all kinds of confirmation tools. Some people will, symbols, different things. The easiest for me is audio with my dad, because I hear his voice. It changes in pitch. And some people, Cindy, well, if you want to connect with your dad, wouldn't you just kind of make that up? And I'm like, no. I could say, hey, Dad, I miss you. and hear nothing. Hey, Dad, I love you, and hear nothing or feel nothing, but I've just sent it out. So if he wants to receive that energy, great. He could be busy, right? So, but the thing is, the other thing that Archangel Michael monitors for me is when I open up to do a reading for somebody else, my family isn't able to pop in. So what I mean by that, the only time that Michael will close the gate to my loved ones on the other side is when I'm working. But other than that, my family can pop in and say hi anytime. And for me, it is, I miss them less. I still miss them, but I miss them less. So Sam, how about you give some examples when communicating with your loved ones?
Yeah, so as I say, I started out my journey as an angel empowerment practitioner rather skeptical about all of this, and I think my ego came in and there was that fear. But there was always this nagging thought that there's got to be something more to life than just being born and dying. There has to be. And so my belief system has evolved into understanding about souls. And I think of my dad. My dad passed away 7 years ago, and I was actually estranged from my dad for a number of years prior to that. And all that time that we were estranged, I had this ability to think, and I remember as a kid doing this as well. What would my dad do in this situation? And then something would come to me, what would my dad think about me doing this? And that was very often, just any time during the day, but when we were estranged. I still love my dad dearly. It's a long story, but I used to just sort of think about, what would my dad think about this? That was very different. Once he passed over, there was a difference, and I needed to know that there was a difference. So I actually asked my angel team, can you give me a sign that will let me know when my dad is around me? And suddenly I started seeing magpies. And it would be something like I'd be on a walk, and then a magpie would literally land on a gate or a fence post right next to me. It's like, there's this magpie. So I'm like, okay, that is the sign. And whenever the magpies are around or show themselves, I can ask my dad something, and I can actually feel his presence. It's the only time that I can actually smell the cigarette smoke. He always used to smoke a cigarette. In fact, I don't think I ever saw him really without a cigarette in his mouth. But I can smell the cigarette smoke, and I can smell my dad around. And it's got to the point now where my stepson and my husband, they will say, hey, Sam, come and see. Your dad's here. And I'll go outside, and there'll be a magpie sitting, looking in through the window. So that for me has been one of the biggest breakthroughs for me. The difference between being estranged from my dad, even though he wasn't in my life, how different it was to when he'd actually passed over to the other side, and the signs that my angelic team gave me. So that's kind of the best example I can give as to the difference. There's also that feeling, as I practiced, Cindy, you have taught me how to feel different energies, that vibration. And I remember in my AEP class, I don't know if you do, but I remember really connecting with the spirit world and the feeling that I had. And it's very, very different to when I'm connecting with angel energy or goddess energy or energy of life around me. It feels very different. And I feel that when my dad's around. It is a heaviness, like you said, but it's not necessarily a heaviness meaning a burdensome and sadness. It's just a different energy, a different vibration. And it's almost like a comforting. I feel a comfort there.
Yes. Yeah. Great example. I my belief system, and I always say, take it or leave it, but my belief system is that when we do cross to the other side, when our spirit and soul crosses the other side, that we do the work to learn our lessons, what happened in this lifetime, and be able to make the shift and change with higher power on the other side. And so eventually, when my dad did connect with me, I always say after he did his work, the thing that was so overwhelmingly full of love for me when I felt him and knew that he was there is that I was getting the opportunity to connect to the purity of my dad's soul and spirit on the other side, because he'd done his work. So all of the different things that he'd gone through in ego form, in the physical, and, some of the craziness that we experienced in our lifetime together, that was gone. It was more like he was there as my dad in what I always refer to as the purest form. I still get his sense of humor. I still know, but I feel this such a shift of love, but he really makes me know that's him, because things that are said or done or symbols that I see would only be him that would do it. And so it makes it much easier to know that he's with me. Am I making sense, Sam, about
you are
that we connect with them? It's kind of like, no longer is that stuff with your dad. You now get to experience them in his, I always say, in the purest
form. Yeah.
And
I've got to say, you said about the humor, Cindy, and what I didn't say is my dad had an ongoing battle with magpies all his life. And he would always say, "Oh, bloody magpies, I'll shoot the buggers, they're eating my crops again." I think to myself, it is just so funny that he shows himself as a magpie, or that the angels, it's almost like it's a joke. And the other thing I didn't mention is magpie feathers. I have stashes of magpie feathers, and I find them, and they'll appear at a time when I need to take notice. So very much like we've talked about the symbolism of the angels, I find that my dad behaves in that way as well. It might be a situation in my life and I'll find a feather and I'll think, what's dad wanting me to know? Okay, I'm listening, dad. And it's like that nudge. Hey, man, listen, I've got something to say. He really is one of my greatest guides now. And it brings me so much comfort. But I just had to mention the humor there.
Yes. And I think, please everybody understand that, I still had grief when my dad crossed to the other side, because we all experience grief, because it's, we can't pick up the phone and talk to him. He's answering the phone, but even though he does answer on the other side, but it's that, it's just knowing that the physical connection is also gone. It helps, knowing what I know has helped me in my grief process with when people cross, but I still grieve. So please understand that everybody, that I grieve, and that's part of our process. It's just that it's there's just a knowing that I still can be connected, and my grandmother, we called her Gigi, she crossed like 6 weeks before my dad, and she loved what I did and, was part of my courses and different things. So when she crossed, I thought hands down, she was going to be around me lots. But it's been very interesting because she's shown up a few times. She surprised me, but she has not shown up as much as I thought she would. And she's busy with other family. That's and you've got this. I'm with other family. I'm like, okay, right?
Yeah.
So sometimes we expect things.
Well, I expected my dad on my wedding day. My son gave me away, in the place of my dad, and I really expected him to be around. And I mean, you were there, Cindy, but I didn't feel my dad there. It was almost as though, and I remember asking him, why weren't you around? And I said, because you didn't need me. You have Glenn and your family and your son. You didn't need me to be there. And it's like, oh, okay. Which was comforting as well, because I guess it was his way of saying, you got this, Sam, you're okay.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And one of, for me, growing up, there was a lot of fear around the spirit world, because as a child, we referred to it as wide open. And many of you may have shut it down or don't remember when you were really young. And some of you may have grandchildren or children that talk about and see your loved ones. Like, if you think of it, because we have less filters when we're young. We haven't been told that we shouldn't be able to see through the veil. And, so many stories get shared where kids will say, oh, that's my friend that hangs out with me, and father that they see a picture of, right? That crossed many years before they were born. I mean, there's so many different stories. For me, I was very open young, and long story short, my mom just thought it was my imagination, and she didn't, in the end, it caused a lot of fear, because I knew other people weren't seeing what I was seeing. And eventually that fear shut everything down. And so if I saw anything that didn't make sense to me, even as a teenager, I'd freak. And so I never liked to go to the ghost movies or the thrillers or any of that, is because it would trigger those children memories that I had, and I would just shut it right down. So that is why I love to be able to teach people to be able to connect to the other side and know that we're 100% safe to do so. And that's where Archangel Michael comes in, and I'm in so much gratitude to be able to do what I do and be able to give messages to other people to their loved ones. And Sam, where do you think your fear came from?
Oh, I think it was definitely my mom. I would be told, don't be so silly, you've got an overactive imagination, go back to bed. It was a dream. All of those things. And I carried it with me. I've spoken before about, my clinical role as a nurse and a midwife, and, life and death has been a big part of my career. I've worked in hospice care, palliative care, and also as a midwife, bringing life into this world. So I started to look at things very clinically, and I suppose that was a continuation of my childhood and shutting down, as I now understand, and shutting down that emotion, and even grief, shutting down grief as well, which I know is a very important part of being a human being. It's an important process to move through. And I've done a lot of grieving in more recent years for things that maybe happened to me in my previous years. And it certainly having my angel team be there to protect me, and I trust them that it's safe for me to move through different processes in my life, if that makes sense. But you know, I as I say, a lot of things happened to me, you know, when I became an angel empowerment practitioner. I mean, we've spoken about that, and I just opened up my eyes to what could be, what might be, and what actually made sense, instead of shutting things down. So I very much relate to that. I wasn't even just as a child I was shut down. I was shut down very much as a young adult, not only from belief systems. My clinical career was very much a safety net for me, but even things that happened in my childhood and loss and grief from my childhood, I shut that down as well. Not healthy.
No.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So we'll continue with this subject also, but we're close to break. Okay, so a couple minutes to break. So everybody that is listening to us live, we will be doing angel card readings, messages, and we'll see what happens with the spirit world, if we open up and anybody steps in also, but no guarantee to that. It all allows what Michael will allow to happen, but for sure we'll pull some cards for you. All you have to do is enter your name and location on any of the social media platforms, or call into us live to talk to us. Even share some of your own spiritual mediumship experiences. 1-800-930-2819. We would love to hear from you, right, Sam?
Absolutely.
So once again, it is Sam Bell and Cindy Smith. No, I keep saying Sam Bell. I'm supposed to be saying your married name, aren't I?
No, it's Sam Bell. I keep it simple. Cindy, how many shows have we had? You don't know my name.
I do Sam Bell, but then I go, oh, Glenn, you know, it's Sam Bell inspired. That's who she is, but she is married. It's okay, Sam. I can have a brain glitch.
It's fine.
Okay, everybody, we will be right back in a couple minutes. So here we are back on Angel Empowerment Podcast Show with Transformational Talk Radio. Myself, Cindy Smith, and Sam Bell, and we have been discussing spiritual mediumship, a topic that we could spend many hours discussing. And again, it's one of those topics that have so many different belief systems around it. And so that's why Sam and I say, take it or leave it. If it resonates with you, great. If not, that's okay too, right? Because we have we definitely have our own experiences and beliefs around it. Before we start doing any messages, Sam, is there anything else that you want that really created the trust for you?
I think I just become, like you say, it's more open, and knowing that I'm safe and that my angel team is with me and keeps me safe, it's allowed me to push a little bit more to find out. I honestly wish that I had this belief system years ago, but I'm in gratitude that I have it now. I think one of the things you mentioned before, Cindy, is how much comfort it brings to you. And it really has brought me so much comfort. And no fear, whereas previously, as I say, I was always very skeptical and felt when anybody was starting to say, I mean, unfortunately, I've had a few experiences where I've been to mediums and it really hasn't resonated with me and has made me feel uncomfortable, like reading my future and this sort of thing. Now I know that that is not my angel team, that is ego. That was coming up. So I would encourage anybody to explore this. because it's safe. And especially with Archangel Michael at the gate, I think that makes a big difference to me.
Yes. And yeah, it's remembering to ask. I just want to share one thing. I've had a few learning lessons over the years. My best friend, Vern, who is now on the other side, and him and we used to teach the mediumship together. And so he'll step in and he helps me quite a bit along with Archangel Michael, which is amazing. But one time we were teaching in the Lund Hotel where we like to, and that's where I grew up. And it's, I can't remember even how many years old it was. And so we wanted the students to experience the energy in the older hotel. And the manager took us up to the old attic.
Ooh.
And I said to Michael, okay, allow me to experience the spirits that are here. Wrong thing to say, because I almost had to sit down. So it was like, open this funnel of all these spirits, energy that have been through and in and around that hotel. It was overwhelming. So I learned, no, that's not the way to do it. Let's not experience them all at one time. So really, Michael has control, really helps us, and has taught me, be careful what you ask for. I'll never forget that. I was looking at Vern and everybody around me and going, hanging on to walls because of how much energy I felt. So anyways, look, we've got lots of people that are wanting card pulls. So how about I pull for Amy? Amy, okay. Thank you once again for joining us. Let's see. And then we've got Andre from Alberta. Sam, I'll let you do. And we've got Amy, we've got the Courage for Change card. Amy, I'm gonna give a direct message from Archangel Michael for you. We got the Courage for Change, but Archangel Michael, because we're talking about spiritual mediumship, it is safe to ask. It's safe. There's a loved one on the other side that is connected to you that I'm being told is female, that's been on the other side over 10 years. It's, for some reason, it's like a surprise for you that this person would want to connect with you, but Michael says she does, and she wants to assist. She wants to assist with the children, your children. So because we were talking about spiritual mediumship, because I've mentioned my dad, my grandma, and Vern, it's almost like, boom, we're getting into the spiritual mediumship side of things. So Amy, Courage for Change, and ask. So ask Michael to allow the female spirit that would like to connect with you, and whoever came to mind when I was saying that, allow for that to happen. So thank you, Amy, for joining us. Sam.
All right, so I'm going to go here for Andre, who are in Alberta, and we have your message here. Lots going on. Whoop, there you go. Did you see that? All right. Okay, so we've got the Stop Self-Judgment card that has come through. This is Archangel Raguel, and saying that the understanding of judgment exists in the realm of punishment for action of wrong. Judgment creates the opposite of acceptance. My child, love and accept yourself now as the divine being you are, and stop negative ego-based thoughts. What came through to me very clearly when I was reading that, Andre, is just know there's lots going on. Try to stop the overwhelm. Trust that you are deserving of good things that are coming. All right. So it says your message is saying that you're signing on May the 2nd and you're looking for a renter. So lots of things that you're looking for. Try to eliminate that doubt, that self-doubt that this isn't going to happen. Know that it is going to happen. Clear the way for that to happen, for everything to go well.
Awesome. Thank you. So Rhonda, ready for change. So here we had courage for change and ready for change. And again, I'm gonna give you what Michael is. There is a male spirit, Rhonda, that is asking to come through and connect with you. It's on your father's side. It is somebody that you definitely have met, and it's somebody well, somebody that you know, your dad's side, and wants to speed things up for you, whatever that means. I have no, like, I just hear, tell her I want to speed things up for her. I want things to go quicker, go faster. Yeah, strong, faster movement, whatever that is coming through. It's like giving you a push. And he also had a sense of humor that would make you laugh. Okay. I'm not getting a name. I'm sorry, Rhonda, but I do know that it is somebody that's connected on your dad's side. But he's telling me you know exactly who it is. Speed up, no slowing down. It's all about making things happen. And with the angel deck, you got courage for change. So obviously change is in the air. Okay.
And I actually drew a card as well. And it was funny because light-hearted time together. And that really resonated when you said about the humor and the joy and the fun, that sense of fun. When you're having fun and enjoying yourself, time does go faster.
Yes. Yes.
So, yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Rhonda. I'll let you pull for Michelle.
Michelle from Foam Lake. All righty. Let's see. There we go. Oh, you've got the ignite passion. Oh, you're giggling now, Cindy.
Well, I'm giggling because Michelle, I tell you, you've been getting a theme every card pull that we've done in the last few card pulls for Michelle, because she follows and has been on, and I tell you, it keeps repeating itself.
Well, honey, you need to start listening. You're asking.
She's going to be laughing. She's going to be laughing with us. I can tell you that.
Well, you're asking, honey, but you really need to start listening. Okay, so yeah, ignite passion. I'm just going to leave it at that because I think you obviously know exactly what this message is meant to be, honey.
And I will. Yeah, I'm getting, Michelle, the reminder of, just a reminder of the path you've chosen. Okay, a reminder of the path chosen and the spiritual mediumship path. It's around that. Michael's giving you a direct. You're on the right path. Okay, you're a reminder you're on the right path. Okay, beautiful. Awesome. So Jenna from Alberta, let's see. Jenna, the stop overwhelm card came up. And so, you know, if I think about stop overwhelm and mediumship, sometimes Michael will say, just even thinking about a loved one or somebody that's crossed to the other side can cause you overwhelm, because it's, you know, that feeling of grief, or I miss the person. So Michael, this stop overwhelm is to remember to be in the now and then ask. Okay, like if you really want to connect with a loved one on the other side, be in the now and ask to connect, and keep out of the overwhelm of the ability to do it. Sometimes Michael's saying that your desire to connect to a loved one on the other side it's interesting. I'm picking up more grief than joy, Jenna. So there, whether it's a recent grief, it's like, it's almost like there's if I allow myself to connect and truly allow myself to connect, I'm going to experience more grief because there's so much sadness connected to it. I'm not sure if this is making sense, Jenna, but I'm really getting that Archangel Michael and your angel team really would like to assist with healing, to know that you can still be connected and love the family member that is on the other side without the overwhelming sense of grief. Okay, there's because when I pulled the card stop overwhelm, I also said Michael wanted to clear grief for you. So I'm not sure if it's old grief or if it's recent, but it's like the angels really want to clear for you. So thank you, Jenna, for joining us.
And what's interesting there is I also pulled a card at the same time, and I got the time for vacation card, but it was very much the part of this was that's clearing of space in time. Create space for a reset.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Okay, Jennifer from Calgary.
All right, Jennifer. Let's see what your angel team want you to know at this moment in time. Another very powerful message. There you go. Creating peaceful space. So, again, I'm getting that feeling that there's some overwhelm, lots of things happening, balls in the air, juggling, but really getting that message that you need to be purposeful in setting aside not only time, but space. And again, I'm getting that feeling that there needs to be joy, there needs to be some happiness, there needs to be some excitement. All right, so yes, Archangel Raphael and selenite. I love selenite, but to clear space and to keep it clear. So that's the crystal that we're being guided to tell you about. All right. Connect to self, partner, and whoever. It's safe, and ask.
Awesome.
All right.
Julie.
Julie, yeah.
Okay, Julie, you got the time to play card, and there is it's interesting because I get that there's a younger female spirit that wants to play. And perhaps you just know this right off the bat, this younger spirit, but it's playful energy. It's really allowing you to experience fun and playful, you know, because we're talking about the spirit world. I get a sense that there's a younger spirit that wants to play, to encourage you to and I hear continue to have some fun. Continue to set fun in your plans. And I see a doll. I see a doll. Interesting. I also see a doll. So young enough that the young spirit would play with the doll. So not sure if a spirit comes to mind, but there's definitely a doll, playful, and have fun. Okay.
Yes, that's coming through a lot this evening.
Yes. Right. And again, it's, it's hard to dive in with spiritual mediumship on live calls like this, but I'm just getting flashes of different things.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
All right. So this is for Tracy in Grandora. Where's Grandora?
That's in Saskatchewan.
Is it? These places I've never heard of. Wow. Okie dokie. You've got the worth the wait card. So as soon as that came through, it's just patience. There's something that you are waiting for, expecting, and there's a little frustration there that maybe it's not happened as yet. But this card is saying that it's worth that wait, all right, and patience. So I'm just looking at the card and the message on the card. Now is the time for patience, as all you desire will be presented to you. So when your current new partner vibration is ready to match yours, divine timing initiates all that you desire. So I'm just getting very, very clearly there, patience, and it's worth the wait. The apophyllite crystal. I love apophyllite. I haven't come across apophyllite for a long time. The message for the apophyllite crystal is I envelop you in calm, peaceful acceptance and help you to have faith and unwavering trust that you are being looked after for the highest good of all involved. So again, yeah, just that patience and knowing that what you're waiting for, it's coming. It is coming. You're asking, and now you just need to wait and be patient. Beautiful.
Awesome. Thank you, everybody that has joined us. I'm going to close with a message from Vern, my dear friend that is on the other side. He's reminding us that how easy it is to receive messages from your loved ones in your dreams. And because we didn't talk about the dreams, and he says, what are you doing? He's talking to me. So reminding you that sometimes, because it's so easy for the spirit world when we're in the conscious mind is asleep when we're asleep, and to get those direct messages from your loved ones. And so for, Julie, allow to see and open up and ask Michael to have the young spirit join you in a dream. For people that really want to connect with a loved one, have them join you in a dream. Just ask the angels to assist with that. And, Vern is definitely come in through dreams sometimes. I always say, if I'm not paying attention, he's going to get my attention in a dream. Or he loves to make sounds. So, our loved ones that are on the other side will definitely get our attention. And so think dreams, anybody that really would like to receive a direct message. Do you ever get dreams, Sam? I'll allow you to anything before yes?
Yeah, definitely. To the point that, have you ever had those dreams and you wake up and then you go back and you're going into that same dream again? That's been happening with me a lot recently. And what I've also started to do is I have a notepad by my bed so that I can actually just write a word or something that will help me to remember that dream. Because very often, once the alarm goes off and I start with my day, the dream's gone. It's there in my subconscious somewhere. But to bring it back into my conscious mind and to receive that message, I sometimes find that I need to give myself a prompt when I first wake up in the morning. So just jot a note down.
Yes.
But yeah, I have had loved ones coming through in my dreams, and sometimes they're memories as well, dreams of memories.
Yes, dreams and memories, and then all of a sudden you're paying attention and
Yep.
you get a direct message. So
Yep.
like Sam says, when we do get those dreams in our dreams, write them down. Sometimes I'll wake up and I'll be crying because it just made so much sense in my dream. So spiritual mediumship, it's safe, it's real, and it's reality for Sam and I, and I'd like to think that we've shared some positive aspects that everybody understands when it comes to spiritual mediumship and how easy it is to connect to our loved ones. How can anybody get a hold of you for any type of your sessions or healing? How can they reach out to you?
Sam Bell Inspired. So all of my social media is at Sam Bell Inspired. My website, sambellinspired.com.
Awesome. And everybody remember, April 2nd in Calgary is Inspirational Angel Day. It is around the corner. There are tickets still on sale. All you have to do is go to my website, cindysmithaep.com, and hit the events tab, and it'll pop right up there. We have an amazing day. Sam and I will be there. Deb and Nola, all four of us from the podcast, will be at the Calgary event. We would love for you to come meet us in person and say, hey, we follow your podcast show. Next Monday, it'll be all four of us hosts giving full-on 1 hour, full-on readings because it's the last Monday of the month. So once again, thank you everybody for joining us on the Angel Empowerment Podcast. We really enjoy these Monday evenings, right, Sam?
Absolutely. Yeah. And by the way, if you have put a message into one of the chats, then please, if you've had a reading, let us know any comments. We're more than happy to interact with you there on those chats.
Wonderful. We will see you next Monday and really look forward to seeing you at Inspirational Angel Day in Calgary, April 2nd at the Sheridan Cavalier on 32nd Avenue. Bye for now.
Thank you for listening to the Angel Empowerment Show from I Can't to I Can with your host, Cindy Smith, and co-host. Learn to empower you with angelic guidance every Monday at 6 p.m. Pacific on transformationtalkradio.com. It's easy to tap into your divine self and trust in your angelic guidance. Let Cindy and co-hosts give you a loving push to explore your potential. For more information, go to cindysmithaep.com. That's cindysmithaep.com.